before to talk, maybe we can be quiet. We can be in silence. We come from the eternity, the silence. The last day of our life, we go back to the silence, to the eternity. So before to develop our questions, we can meditate. I snap 3 times and just we close our eyes. We are sitting down in a comfortable position. We do nothing. Our mind is like a sky. Many thoughts, like the clouds in the sky of our mind. We can clarify our mind, our sky. We can breathe in like a wind. We keep our breath and we push our thought like the clouds in the sky. And we see the dissolution of our thought like the clouds in the sky. We can do it again. We see our thought like the clouds in the sky. We breathe in like a wind. Keep and push the thought. Immediately we feel better. We can do for the last time. We see our thought in our mind like the clouds in the sky. We breathe in like the wind. Keep, push the cloud. Our mind is like a sky, a pure blue sky. And we open our eyes slowly. It's good to calm our mind. We are born to bloom. We are a sunflower. If we talk through Buddhism, we say we are born to bloom our karma, the continuity of our lives. If we talk through theology, we say we are born to make the plan of God. If we talk through Native American tradition, we say we are born to be in harmony with the Mother Nature, with the elements. If we talk through astrophysics, science, we can say that we are born to be aligned with the universe, the vibration. So, how is it possible? How is it possible to bloom our soul in this very short time that we name our life? How is it possible? When we have a lot of challenge, obstacle, when life is difficult, when we have fears, anxiety, money issues, problem in relationships, problem in our job, conflict, when we have a trauma, when we have an addiction. How is it possible to bloom our soul? The suffering, or any suffering, comes from the mind, comes from our mind. Because since we were a child, we were educated with the wrong perception of the life. All that we learned about fears, death, life, career, money, I will say like a joke that all that we learned, it's wrong. It's wrong, I mean, it's not the reality. When we say it's wrong, it's not a judgment. It's not a belief. It is not a dogma. But it's wrong because it's not the reality. So since we are a child, we are educated, and we educate our children with a wrong perception of the reality. It could be like if we say to someone, oh, you know, in the sky there is only clouds. We know it's not true. There is light beyond the clouds. But with the suffering, we see just the clouds. Because no one has explained to us that beyond the clouds, there is the sky. Beyond any waves, there is an horizon. Beyond any challenge, there is hope. So, we are born to bloom, but it's not possible to bloom with a wrong perception of the life. For example, people in the Middle Age, they thought that the earth was flat. They were sure the earth is flat, no one could imagine another perception of the planet, of the earth. It was flat, and all those people were educated with a wrong perception of the reality. Now we have science, we have satellite, we know the Earth is not flat. I am sure that in a few years, probably so soon, we will say people in 2019-20 were so ignorant because they didn't know that every emotion, it's an illusion. Every emotion, every sensation, every perception, it's an interpretation. It's a projection. According our mental habit, or belief system, or childhood, or education, we project all the time. And we are sure that what we project is true because we were educated like that. Our parents, our grandparents, our friends, everyone, we were educated with a wrong perception of the life, of the reality. And when we are at the opposite of the life, at the reality, there is a fight. We cannot be happy because we are educated with a wrong perception of the life. So, in this class today, we can give some example, very precise. When we talk about fears, for example, many of us, we have fears. But no one explained to us when we were a child that fear, like every emotion, it's a projection. It's an illusion. It's an interpretation of the situation. For example, when we see something, if you see me, you say, this is Michel. But at the first moment you see me or you see something, you must know that the perception of the brain is neutral. You don't know it's me. If I take my cell phone, I say this is my cell phone. There is no cell phone. There is my interpretation, this is a cell phone. In science, in neuroscience, when we put electrode on the brain, the scientists, they see that the first perception of my brain to this thing, it's neutral. My brain doesn't know what it is. And 2 milliseconds after, my brain has a concept. This is a cell phone. Because I am educated. This is a cell phone. So when I create a concept, immediately it creates a neurochemical reaction in the body. According my interpretation of a cell phone. So for example, if someone unkind call me, I say unkind because I project that, for example, one person is unkind with me, and I see her name. I say, oh my gosh, she wants to call me again. So at the first moment I see the cell phone, I see the name of the person, because I have the concept that this person is not kind to me. Immediately the perception is not wrong, but 2 milliseconds after, there is the concept. So when we realize what science proved today, when science confirms what we know in Buddhism, for example, since many, many centuries, we realize clearly that our fears are a projection, an interpretation. And we are sure, year after year, that we have some fears, very precise. Like we are sure that this is a cell phone. Like we are sure that there is clouds in the sky. Why? Again, because no one explained to us when we were a child. There is no cell phone. There is no Michel. You don't exist. Nothing exists. It's a dream. As Deepak Chopra says, it's a lucidity dream. So suddenly when we are interested to see how works the fears, how work an emotion, it's a revelation in our life. Because we understand that fears are our projection, because all is projection. So what we do most of the time, we are educated with a wrong perception of the life, so our reaction is wrong. When we have fears, for example, we say, oh, I must be stronger, I must be a warrior, I must be more myself. Many coach, many people, they teach, be yourself, be proud of you. Where is ourselves? It doesn't exist. It's ego. It's also a wrong perception of the reality. We don't exist. We are just a vessel. There is an energy through me to move my lips in my synapse to talk to you. But I don't exist. We don't exist. Nothing exists. All is a projection of the mind. Albert Einstein, the famous scientist, he said that all that we see, it's an illusion from our consciousness. It's an illusion. So instead of to react to fears with a wrong reaction, to build up our ego, to build up more the wrong perception of our emotion, it could be more interesting to see how works a fear, how works an emotion, how it works in the brain. Because what we say today, it's not a belief. It's not a dogma, it's not a scripture that we found 2,000 years ago in the Bible, in the Sutra. No. It's what we see when we put electrode on a brain. It's what we see when science explains to us the mechanic of our perception. So it's amazing when we realize that every fear, it's a mental construction. Because we were educated like that. Because we keep in our mind, so in our cells, the memory of the fears. Because no one has explained to us since we were a child what we talk today. I deeply hope that one day, soon, our children will be educated with a real perception of the life, not a wrong perception. Because the wrong perception creates a lot of suffering. You imagine how million people every day are in the suffering because they have a wrong perception of the life.